There's the old legends about Disney, right?
The Lion King.
The Lion King, he lays down, it says sex, and then I think the official explanation was no, it says SFX. Is that what it was? Something like that. Then there's the cover of The Little Mermaid. Then there's Aladdin saying, what does he say? Good. What does he say? Something about taking off your clothes.
Oh, there's a bunch of wieners everywhere. Let's just be real with each other. That's what it is. You know?
Bunch of isn't what like The Great Mouse Detective had something?
Did it? Oh, I didn't see that one. I don't think.
Yeah, I could be wrong because I learned all this from watching some like newgrounds.com video back in the day, but it was like under a carriage was a small like porn frame or something. I don't know if that's real, but that's like another part of the legend or whatever.
They've been working this stuff. We saw it in 2012 before the kind of whole transgender kind of movement started taking off in America. We saw it being pushed at this school pretty heavily. And then, of course, you see these major writers, writing these series, writing these movies, and they're part of this whole scene. And so I think that it's been embedded within the culture for a while. We always wonder, how do these things happen? They happen because we've allowed the left and the woke to monopolize all of these institutions that define what it means to be American. So, I think that's one of those kinds of things where we the only way to fight back, the only way to push back is to create our own institutions and get our own messages out there.
Here's what we're doing. One of the things that we're working on here is, aside from music and, Cast Castle, like all of the projects we've been working on have been apolitical. But one of the things we're doing is we're setting up a physical space, which will probably be, we want to do like a gaming space, board games, but we want to do events called Saturday Morning Cartoons, where Saturday mornings you bring your kids. There's like a buffet of like catering, pancakes, sausage, waffles, hash browns, and then we have like little arcade games, but we play cartoons that parents approve. So we can bring back that, we used to wake up, watch it on Saturday morning, watch the cartoons, and the cartoons weren't so bad. We want to bring that kind of thing back, and we want to create a place where neighbors can meet each other and hang out, build community, and build a culture around, where we live.
It's a gold rush right now, I think, as far as the way that they see this all happening at Disney and Netflix and what have you. They want other options. They just don't have the options out there. For so many years, I would tell people, do not, give money to these people's movies and their television shows. Don't subscribe. But then the pandemic hits, and now people are stuck at home. They have nothing to do. They have no other options. They need options.
We got to do Jack's Pizza Shack.
Jack's
Pizza Shack.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Pasobic.
Yeah, Jack Pasobic. He talks about Pizza Hut nationalism.
Yeah.
And we drove past an old Pizza Hut, and it was all falling apart. It was kind of sad. We didn't end up going. But maybe that's what we should do. We should set up, Jack's family-friendly pizza emporium or whatever, and then we can do community events, because that's another big aspect to community. So obviously we're doing the internet-based stuff. We want to build culture, but you can also build culture at the local level too.
Yeah. Jack's been smart. Jack's been great about that.
Back to your point, the subliminal subconscious propaganda does work, and that's why they put these little messages in there. There's a reason advertisers spend hundreds of billions of dollars trying to get their messaging out there. And truly what happens with children, especially when it comes to Disney and all these other mega corporations, and the images and the messages and really the propaganda deep down, when you really look at it, when you're able to take a step back, because when you watch entertainment, you usually go into your kind of reptilian brain. You don't think, you just kind of sit there and consume it. You're in this phase where you're just getting injected with entertainment. It's not entertainment. A lot of it is propaganda. A lot of it is programming that programs people to believe families are bad, to believe healthy relationships are bad. And as you said, to make children in this kind of state where, of course, they're going to be prevented from having healthy relationships in the future. But the culture is extremely important. We have to fight back. I think memes are also extremely important, like the meme that Tim just showed just a couple of moments ago. But there's another meme that I saw today to bring this back to the conversation that we originally had here, and it was of a Deutsche dog in the 1920s saying, "I lost my house, I lost my job, I lost my savings, I lost everything." And then you have the Giga Chad Deutsche dog in 2020 saying, "I never had any of those things." And when you're seeing messages like that and memes like that, it resonates with people because, like, yeah, I never had savings. Oh yes, I don't have a house. Yes, I don't have a real job. I have this gig economy created by Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum that literally is just screwing me over and not giving me any kind of benefits or anything that could actually sustain me as a human being. So memes, I think, are super, super important.
Luke came to me before the show, and he was talking about he was unhappy, and I said, "Have you considered owning nothing?"
Oh, yeah.
Things are looking up.
On a simplistic hippie Ian level, that can work.
Actually, yeah.
With minimalism, I live in an RV, so I went into the whole minimalistic aspect. It's still impossible to pack
voluntary.
that whole thing. But in the bigger element, yes. But what they mean from it is essentially human slavery, which they're slowly conditioning us to be okay with by getting rid of our financial ability to prosper or have any kind of legitimate, healthy lifestyle. So when you're seeing people getting screwed over, I mean, these inflation numbers, these are just the official numbers. They don't represent what actually is happening out there in the real world. Since last year, groceries went up 13.5%. Rent went up 6.7%. Airline fares, 13.4%. Electricity, 15.8%. That's a lot higher than the 8.3% reported just in August. What's happening out there is a total bloodbath. The poorest people of the world are being screwed over, are literally just being taken by their feet and shaken by all these globalists, by all these leaders that just want everything from them. And it's disgusting and it's sad. And the poverty, the homelessness, the suffering is created by politicians. And because we don't see what's going on, because we're divided, because we're conquered, we're allowing this to happen more and more.
Somebody just super chatted a correction. They said it's Disney's The Rescuers. It has a frame with a woman in the window, full frontal, Snopes, blah, blah, blah. I just think about where we've gotten to, with everything Luke said. I'm hearing, all this economic stuff, and then I'm thinking about what you said and imagining just like all ages drag shows, and I'm just like, Rome is burning, man.
100%.
So I kind of feel like, what you can do is scream as you fall to the earth, or you can enjoy, your skydiving,
Learn to fly.
and then, I guess, do a couple somersaults.
Or you can evolve and
aim
turn
for a
those
tree.
squirrel thing
Like
creatures
squirrel.
that can end up gliding themselves out of the way.
You can scream and panic, or you can aim for those trees.
Aim for the bushes.
Yeah.
Aim for the
Yep.
bushes.
Yeah, use your body as a glider mechanism.
Yeah, I've heard like people have survived their shoots failing, like falling into trees and stuff. So
I've seen those stories.
Maybe.
The American revolutionaries had to fight a war to seize their property back from the king, or basically retain or gain the rights to their own property that the king had seized from them, however you want to look at it. And to think that we might go back there is really bothering me. I don't like that Black Rock or Blackstone has been able to purchase property. I don't think it should be constitutionally legal for megacorps to buy property. That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe not single family homes. But
I would say you hit the nail on the head with the hammer, except for the might part. I mean, look at the rate at which we're taxed. So they were concerned about much less taxes back then than we get taxed today, and it's getting worse. So, man, it's crazy to think about this idea that after the American Revolution, you owned land. That was it. You owned land. Now you can't own land without paying 1,000,001 taxes.
I think the real indicator is whether we're going to just into a civil war or not. And we've talked about this on Red Pill America a lot. We've actually did an episode on it. We believe that we're venturing towards that area. We agree with you on that. I think the difference is, or what we're seeing right now, if you look at the American Revolution or you look at the actual Civil War in the mid-1800s, why did those things happen? They happened because the people that were fighting didn't have political recourse. There was nothing that they could do from a political standpoint to change the things that they were trying to change. In the 1776, it was they didn't have it was taxation without representation. In the middle 1800s, it was we don't have rights, we're slaves. Are we seeing that now? Is that what we're seeing? Is that there's no political ability to solve our problems? That's the real question I think that we're starting to ask ourselves right now. With people talking about voter fraud and those kinds of things, if people start to believe that they do not have the political pathway to solve their problem, they turn to violence. And that we've seen that throughout American history. So that's really the temperature that we really need to be gauging is, do people feel that they can change things in the voting booth?
Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable.
Exactly.
So if people, look, you've got, we'll get into this in a little bit, but Lindsey Graham is basically sabotaging the Republicans right before the election.
Cool.
He's pushing out this 15-week abortion ban, which is it's not going to pass. It's impossible. Republicans don't have the House, the Senate, or the executive branch, so this just makes no sense to do. if people start to feel like there is no path towards any kind of political solution, you're right, they're going to lose their minds and it's going to get bad. But I have to wonder if this is what they want. Before a midterm election, get everybody riled up and angry so that they can sabotage.
Of course, it's what he wants, I believe, and I think that the people that are going to be backing him on this. I mean, culturally, is there anything culturally that's pulling him into making this decision? I mean, it's that old saying that Andrew Breitbart made popular: politics is downstream of culture. Mm-hmm. The only time that you can create legislation like this is if the culture asks for it. You can try to create it and you could force it down people's throats, but the decision already has to be made by the American people for that to stand. And Lindsey Graham, I think, is off on this. I don't think culturally right now. I mean, the whole thing with Roe v. Wade and why we were so happy about it, I consider myself pro-life, but the reason why we were so happy about it is because we were throwing it back to the states and we were allowing states to make their decision. And now he comes along and says, no, now we're going to, enforce this on a federal level. And he has to understand that this is going to rile up the left. He has to understand it. I mean, just logic will tell you that.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.